Well, it's myself, Warren Ashurst, and Tom McGarry alongside me to run you through three of the key fixtures in the Premier League game week 4. And we'll start off with one fixture which takes place on Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock. Chelsea against Sheffield United at Stamford Bridge. Not surprisingly, I would suggest, Tom, Chelsea are odds-on favourites for this game, but I don't really think it offers much value in terms of a home win, bearing in mind that Chelsea have been leaking goals left, right and centre. Yes, they got their first win of the season in the league at Norwich at the weekend, but that wasn't without Norwich causing them problems. Sheffield United were a little bit off the pace in terms of their clash against Leicester, but even then they still almost managed to snatch a point, and I think that they could cause Chelsea some problems.
Absolutely. I think Sheffield United are going to be really tough to beat this season under Chris Wilder, and he wasn't happy with their performance against Leicester, so I'd expect a big response from them. There's nothing really to lose going into the fixture away to a top 6 side, so all the pressure will be on Chelsea, who will be buoyed by their victory over Norwich last time out. It's got the monkey off the back of Frank Lampard, that first win, but different proposition. This will be tough against Sheffield United. It'll make it difficult for Chelsea to break them down. Plus, we know with their overlapping centre-backs, they've got a unique style, the Blades. They've scored in every league game so far this season. As you mentioned, Chelsea have conceded in every match so far, so you can certainly see the Blades scoring, and if they do that, if they can get the first goal, then the pressure's really on Chelsea, and you could certainly see Sheffield United emerging with perhaps even a point.
4-11 Chelsea are to win the match on Saturday. Sheffield United 10-1, but Tom and I both think the value is 41-10, around that price for the draw. Let's turn our attentions now to Sunday's action in the Premier League, starting off with the early kick-off. And this sees an intriguing encounter between Everton and Wolves at Goodison Park. I'd suggest this is a tough one to call here, Tom, because they're two very evenly matched teams. I'm just slightly edging towards Everton for two reasons. One, their home record has been pretty good of late. They have now collected 6 clean sheets in a row at Goodison Park. This could be a 7th for them. Plus, Wolves have been in European action as well in midweek. It looked a little bit fatigued against Burnley last weekend. I wonder whether that might be an issue again.
Yeah, that's the question mark against Wolves. They've already played 8 games competitively this season, and they're only quite a small squad. Nuno doesn't like to change his starting 11 too much, so already you're starting to feel that perhaps they're a little bit stretched. They were fortunate against Burnley to salvage a point in the last minute with the penalty in the way they did, and although they're unbeaten so far this season in the league, they're still yet to win. And as you mentioned, Everton really good at home. I think it was just a bad day at the office away against Aston Villa last time out. It was almost the fact that Villa were so desperate to get their first win that they managed to get over the line. I think it'll be a different Everton at Goodison Park, and I would just lean towards the Toffees to get a victory. It'll be a tight game, I think, potentially a 1-0, a 2-1 scoreline, but I think they'll just have a little bit too much quality. And although I'm not worried about Wolves in a sense that they'll be fighting relegation or anything like that, I do think it may be a case they have to take a step back this season. It'll be more of a mid-table, lower half finish.
Remarkably, both Tom and I are both agreeing on this as well, as we did with the Chelsea bet. I think Everton at 4-5, around about that, will be a decent bet to claim the 3 points. Wolves, by the way, 11-4, and it's 12-5 the draw at Goodison Park. We're going to turn our attention to the third and final game now, and it is the biggest game of the weekend, the North London derby at the Emirates Stadium. Arsenal up against Tottenham. Again, a very difficult one to call in my opinion here, Tom. Two very evenly matched teams, and this is why I'm edging towards the draw. Arsenal will definitely want to bounce back from what was a frustrating display against Liverpool, but even more frustrating, Tottenham losing at home to Newcastle. I think the draw probably suits both sides here, in my opinion.
Quite possibly, but I'm actually leaning towards an Arsenal victory in this game. I don't think, although they got criticism for the way they lined up against Liverpool, playing quite narrow and allowing the Liverpool fullbacks to have a lot of the ball, I actually quite like the game plan from Unai Emery, and I thought they had plenty of speed on the counter-attack. Nicolas Pepe, an impressive full debut for him. And Tottenham, for me, against Newcastle, were really lacklustre. Not for the first time this season. It was the same against Aston Villa on the opening day for large parts. Struggling to create, getting bogged down in midfield. Too many players wanting to play the fancy pass, if you like, and no one really getting in behind and doing something different. So I think Tottenham are really in a rut at the start of this season, in all truth. And I think Arsenal, despite the defeat against Liverpool, they were beaten by the better side. I think they're the team with more form. They're on home soil as well, so I think the value is with the Gunners to win.
Well, they are 6-4 Arsenal to gain the victory in that North London derby. Spurs are around about 19-10. As I say, I'm edging towards the draw at 11-4. I think Tottenham can't really afford to lose this game if they've got any sort of hopes of mounting a title bid this season. As Tom says, they were very lacklustre against Newcastle. And my concerns are that Christian Eriksen and Jan Vertonghen speculation continues. They are out of the side and Tottenham can't afford to be without those two, in my opinion, in the starting lineup. That's our thoughts then. Make sure, of course, that you have your say on social media, on our Facebook and Twitter pages. Do you agree, or do you think those games will go in another direction? And make sure, of course, that you subscribe to our YouTube channel.